On this episode, we discuss the coronavirus and how it'll affect everything, including your gaming and tech, and that new Season 8 Yeezy business.
Welcome back. We are here. More podcasts for them at top. Where we at, baby? Where we at? What we talking about, man? What we talking about? We talking about the power. Powerful things. Powerful thing that what powerful thing has someone ever said to you? What powerful thing? What's the most powerful thing that anyone has ever said to me? Anyone want to tackle this first? There's more of a childhood thing with me, so
I'm probably there as well.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's a deep question.
I've had a lot of premonitions, and then I've had a lot of off stuff that wasn't said to me directly. But I'm trying to narrow it down to this, where just like someone said to me, like straight up to me, and something that isn't super negative, because I don't want to put that out there.
Yeah, niggas will say some negative shit.
I mean, like in one, if you understand that, or if you accept that, like it's the absolute truth. You know what I'm saying? But I don't want to put that. I don't want to put that one out there because it was the first thing that popped in my mind. I guess.
Listen, be vulnerable.
I can
son.
say this, right? No, it's not about it. It's because I also there are things that you should always talk about, and some of these things are things that are kept in the dark. But then there's some things that needs to be exterminated, and if you give light to it, a small slither of light, people will run with it. I speak in terms of like people who watch, and I'm gonna take a shot at Jay-Z, right? Because it's not Jay-Z who I'm taking a shot at. I'm taking a shot at everybody who watched this movie and walked away with the same thing that he walked away with.
Oh, I got guns blazing for that boy.
And then I saw it as a kid because I'm a child to Jay-Z at this time when it was happening. Okay. And saw that with no problem. You know what I mean? Like when people watch these gangster films, they don't. And when I mean gangster, I meant to say gangster, right? Let's not forget about who the real gangsters are, right? People miss the whole point of, fam, in the end, everyone gets capped. Or don't be flashy. So, but enough of that. I would say one of the most powerful things is there's only one of you. So work at that instead of being like everybody else.
That is powerful. That is powerful.
That's it?
I could give you another one.
Why not? Let's let's get on this.
You'll make more money for your mind than you ever do with your back.
Say that again.
You'll make more money with your mind than you'll ever do with your back.
Okay.
That's deep. That's powerful.
I get that.
I guess I'll go. For me, and one would say that a person who may not have their dad or have had their dad in their life, a powerful statement may not come from the most positive source. However, because up until I was 30, I want to say 30, no, maybe younger, I'm not sure, I can't remember now, but up until I was 30, or so, 2006, my dad passed away. However, my dad was one of those people who would say moving things, powerful things. And one of maybe three, I'll go out on a limb because I think that maybe we got a few moments on this. So one of the things that he's ever said, and it's stuck with me as powerful, is you only live once. And people would hear that and say, all right, that's so very cliche, and it's very that's obvious, but people don't apply you only live once to their everyday. And as basic and cliche as it may come across or may be. And he said that to say you only live once. He was talking about, like, we were in a conversation about buying a vehicle. And at the time, you know, my bills were my bills. I had bills. I was working where I'm working currently. And I was just in the middle of it. I had this bill here. I had a car note here. I didn't know if I wanted to move into another car note. And yes, it's very surface and very not as important, not as life changing as another person's something would be. But we were in the conversation, and he said, "You only live once. Spend your money." And he didn't say be careless with your money. He said, spend your money. And it meant that much more when I have conversations with a friend of mine, well, a coworker of mine. And this coworker he's about, I want to say he's like 56 now. Mm-hmm. And I mean, he's 56. He's up. He's not old, but he's up there.
I get it.
And he's very he's frugal, borderline cheap. He's
sure.
Frugal, borderline cheap,
which is okay as long as you got a goal.
Right, but for him there is no finish line. There is no goal. His method is don't spend money. Don't spend money on. Keep money. And yeah. It's just in my possession. Yeah, but he's all for making money. He's just not all for spending money.
So stay home. If you're gonna be neutral, stay the fuck home.
Nah, I understand where that mentality is from. I don't. It's gonna draw the conversation out. So let's.
Yeah.
I know why he's like that.
Oh.
Well, him. Well, a person could be like that, not him, because I don't know.
Well, for starters, he's a single. He's an only child. He was an only child. He's a very much grown man now, but he was an only child. That doesn't speak too much, but it does show that the ideas of a child that had no siblings may differ person to person and vastly from a person that may have had siblings. He is very cheap. I said frugal, but I want to borderline say cheap. He will not spend money on. He's single, doesn't have a significant other. He won't spend money.
That costs money,
right? But at this point in time, you should be spending money on a female. You should be at this point in time in his life. I think that's a stretch for me to say, but I'm going out on a limb and I'm saying it because at this point in time, that all that money you're acquiring should be enjoyed with somebody you're willing to enjoy it with, and not be, because you know I joke with him and I say there are no Brinks trucks traveling behind any what do you call it? Any fucking funeral hearses. There are no one is getting buried with their money. And for you to be as tight-fisted with your money even with yourself. Like, you should be enjoying your money. It's a task for him to pull his wallet out to spend money.
All right,
it sounds like the money's not the problem. It sounds like he just doesn't know how to live life. He doesn't feel like he's worthy of a good time or a treat
and he is.
And I take a different approach to that, because the more you keep talking about it, and as much as I'm trying like not to get into it, for a person like him, it's clearly a childhood thing and not the single child thing. It's
can't be, because I'm a single child. I'm quite the opposite.
And you're like frivolous with money. But I'm just playing.
That's accurate.
Yeah.
So this dude, by the way, used to purchase $100 condoms, and you can ask him about that. Tweet Ramon and ask him about $100 condoms and see the response he gives you. So, this is not an analogy, but I feel like this is in the same lane. I am connected to a person that needs to have a full fridge. The fridge must be full at all times.
I know where that came from.
And it's only 3 people in that house. Once upon a time, there was only 3 people in that house.
Right.
Any decent sized New York refrigerator, right, should never be full for 3 people in the house.
At all times.
At all times.
It's wasteful.
Right. It's very wasteful. Which means she'll cook, and she'll cook for the week, right? Or she'll cook for Sunday plus the week. Food goes bad. Food goes expires very quickly. If not, it's the stuff that can make it long, stays in there so long that it gets bad and you can't eat it.
Yeah.
Because of the fear of having an empty fridge. Why was that fear? Because when they grew up,
that's
there
how
was
it was.
nothing in the fridge.
You never know when the last meal was coming from.
You never knew when your meal was coming. You just didn't know.
Yeah.
And you had to make it last whatever you got.
Right.
So when you got the money, the first thing you went was to the store and you stocked up and you racked up and you cook it, because it may or may not expire faster that way,
right?
Depending on what kind of food it was.
Right.
So what I'm hearing from your friend, or your coworker rather, was they probably grew up in an environment to where this was their reality as a child, or it was passed down to them to like, yo, yeah, you can go have the nice house, the car, the watch, this, that, and the third, and then boom, you no longer have a job. How are you going to pay rent?
Sure.
Or boom, you get a medical bill that your team won't cover.
Is this person American?
Questionably Haitian. I can't substantiate that right now.
That comes from
country. Definitely country.
That comes from a very we had an offhand comment that there's a ton of shit we can trace back to slavery.
Yeah.
Right.
This is for sure one of them.
It's survival.
You work without knowing why to work, because as slaves, fam.
Yeah,
you ain't got no goal. Just work.
Yeah, your purpose in life is to
you
work.
Get up and work, and that's it. And some people, along with what Snow is saying, you don't know where the next meal's coming from. Some people, like, they don't know what they're doing. They're going left or coming, but they do know that they just have to work.
Can we call that a slave mentality?
No.
No, because slave mentality has a very negative connotation to it.
No, but there's other reasons for
undefined.
This.
It's an institutionally activated mechanism. Mm-hmm. If any of that makes sense. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
But there's other parts other than slavery too, because there's people who've probably never seen slavery that will have that. It's a PTSD.
It is a form of PTSD.
Yeah,
very real form of PTSD.
That much I can say. In line with the statement that my dad made, it is a type of PTSD that I feel he's suffering from.
And by the way, there's a balance.
Yeah,
because there's your colleague on one spectrum, mm-hmm. and then there's the hip hop Negroes on the other spectrum.
Careless hip hop Negroes,
right? There's get this BMW, get this Gucci, nothing in the savings.
Yeah,
yeah. You know what I mean?
There should be a balance.
You got to be somewhere in between there. You got to live your life, and you got to have money for a rainy day.
Yeah, I definitely feel like he has both. What the fuck was that?
I don't know. Yeah. So, okay.
Oh, they're fucking
okay. You had another
One thing I probably would have say more, and as I don't want to be too long winded, but more powerful than that was he said if you don't want to, and to add a picture to words, I must have been I was a teenager, maybe between 15 and 17, and maybe younger. And okay, that's an engine. He said we're driving down son, all day with that. We were driving down Bedford Avenue. Mm-hmm. And we arrive at Bedford and Atlantic.
Got it.
So you know what's over there.
Yep.
And this was me. I was probably fucking up in school. Mm-hmm. And he drove me down there. We just went for a drive, and he went past there. And he took me to another shelter that I didn't really know was around there. And he said, if you don't want to end up like them, start doing right.
Sure.
And that's
a very visual cue.
Yeah, that it was more visual than it was literal or
philosophic, but it was definitely real.
That was the realest. That was probably the realest thing he could have said to me at that age.
He didn't really. He showed me. Yeah.
Showed me, because when you understand what's standing around that shelter, what at that time, it's not that prevalent now. Driving past that shelter, but at that time, you could not drive or walk past that shelter without someone saying, brother, can I?
It still happens.
Yeah,
still there. Yeah,
but it's not as frequent.
I would say where that's the most closest to that right now is what is that? East New York? No, what's that?
There's one in Bushwick somewhere as well. It's in. I'm picturing it right now, but I can't remember.
Eastern Parkway, between before you get to the prettiest part of Eastern Parkway, like it's
yeah, you're talking like blocks. Past Buffalo, past
going towards
Kings Highway.
Yeah,
I got you.
Like over there, it's right. You cannot pull up to a stop sign without.
Yeah,
it's really
remember
crazy.
those projects, those high rises that they tore down over there.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was so eerie. They were up for like 2 or 3 years.
They were up for longer than that. Those are the ones off of Eastern Parkway. I'd say by St. Mark's. Yeah. Going up that block.
That was so eerie to look at.
Up the hill. Yeah.
They were like what, 25, 26 floors.
Yeah.
Just nothing. But they were abandoned.
Abandoned. Yep. Well, there were people in there, but it just as he was just like my dad was one of those people who would say certain things, and some of the shit he said is like, I stop watching so much TV. Mm. And other shit he say is like, I know you got that from TV, but it applies right now.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? And coming from him,
balance.
It's him saying this, and it's not coming from somebody, even a friend. It's not coming from your homeboy's pops or your homeboy's uncle. It's coming from your father.
Sure.
And then it's like it sets a little bit, weighs a little bit more heavy than hearing it from someone else's parent.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I only have two. One's indirect. I probably wasn't said to me, but it damn sure hit me. And that was it was a interview with Maya Angelou and Dave Chappelle. Mm. And Maya Angelou was talking about when she first met Tupac on the set of Poetic Justice. Mm. And he was beefing with the director. And
with, Singleton? John Singleton?
Whoever the fuck the
R.I.P.
director was.
Singleton, yeah.
R.I.P.
And he was all wound up, and she pulled him to the side. Was like, yeah, what's happening? You know, he was hot. And she just said, black man, do you understand how important you are?
And
he was there, yeah, but these motherfuckers, she was like, no. Black man, do you understand how important you are? I was like, damn, son, that's heavy.
Yeah, that's
heavy.
That's when you scale it back and peel away the layers, it's very heavy, because the average black man, and knowing and seeing, coming from where I'm coming from and seeing what I see day in and day out. Yeah, black
they don't
man,
understand.
You don't understand how important
they don't understand, son.
And it's scary, because you guys are the glitch in the matrix.
Sure.
You like to understand. You guys are the Neo.
I'll tell you that.
Right. You guys are when you think about the movies Matrix, whether one or Revolution or what have you, and you understand what Matrix, what Neo, what the underlying information that the viewer, not just it's an action movie.
Sure.
But there was so much there's a
lot of hidden context.
Yes. To the Matrix that went over a lot of people's head. And what
if you go to church you didn't get it? You'll probably never get it.
Yeah, it was very counter that, but being the glitch in the Matrix, you are the glitch in the system. You are amongst people who have who believe day in and day out, their ongoings day in and day out are what they believe they are, but they aren't.
Yep.
And you counter that idea with your own ideas. Black man, black boy, black woman, black girl.
Yep.
But you don't really, you twerking on the gram. And you like,
not to say you don't have to live your life.
Yeah, no.
But you do have to understand the piece you play in this game.
Absolutely.
And I think by and large, most people expect big gains, big yardsticks, 50-yard passes. When in reality, the game is 1, 2, 3 yards at a time. That's why you got 4 downs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's you doing your part, me doing my part, Snow doing his part.
Right.
And then when somebody see us doing their part, they do their, like, together we move forward.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people, when it's so granular and you're in the trenches, you're fighting, you really don't know how important you truly are.
Yeah. And we also, as black people, cannot be the intrusive germ, the intrusive virus to our own movement.
Yeah, well, whatever, man. That's not something that's exclusive to black people. But
no. But what it's of course, because we are all our own worst enemy. So that's what I'm saying in hindsight. So when we become our own worst enemies, what am I saying? I'm saying when we are moving for a cause and we believe that we start to gravitate to the foolishness, for lack of a better term. When I say we become a virus within our own movement, that means we are associating ourselves with the bullshit. We're talking about, like, when we speak to a subject like Kanye West, all right, and we allow our personal feelings to get in the way of what it is that he is attempting. And it is the foolishness that gets us riled up as opposed to what it is that he's trying to do as a black man.
Sure.
And someone will say, "Oh, he's cooning." No. I've seen it. I've seen it on social media. I've seen it on YouTube. I've seen it in the media.
I don't know if these things are exclusive to black people though, because he's cooning when he ain't talking about Jesus, but now he's talking about Jesus. He's a savior.
No.
And then somebody else who wants to talk about hypebeast shit is kind of like,
hold on.
Go. Let me hear you.
No. We need to get back to the powerful thing, because this is spiraling. Like we didn't went down like 5 or 6 different layers off of what you just said. So let's get back to the top.
My second is
let's go.
Me and my mom was beefing for a while.
Table.
Because I had some very real disagreements with how she raised me. So I had to fight in my adult life. I had to fight for this progressiveness that I have now. And which means I had to work harder, right? The black man's plight, you got to work harder around than everyone else around you. So I had to work to get back to this place of self-consciousness because of the way I was raised. I'm not telling you I was raised in a fucking shack.
Right.
You know, but I simple things like I could not play video games. Remember we spoke about this.
Yeah.
I could not play video games during the school semester when everyone else could.
Which is when all the hot stuff comes out.
Right. And you know, we've since had our conversations, and the baseline is she was doing what she could.
Okay.
Because as you get older, you realize your parents are just fucking people.
Absolutely.
Right.
And she was doing the best she could. And that for her, it was a distraction she was removing. She didn't see it as she was creating a barrier between me and a culture.
Right.
And something that there was a chance for me to assimilate to this new culture that they lifted me and dropped me in.
Right.
She didn't see that. You know what I mean?
Right.
The way you're chastised as a Caribbean child. And like these things were like very harmful to me. And which I go back and I look at it. It was very toxic. And so for a while, I didn't have a great relationship with my mom. And one day I was coming off of work and she just called me like crying on the phone. I was like, the fuck's going on? She was like, why you don't love me no more? I was like, what the fuck does that mean? Like I was totally blindsided by it because I was very standoffish to my mom. You know, as much as I love my mom, and I feel like a lot of people aren't willing to do what I did. I created a barrier between me and the energy I deemed as toxic from my mom. Right?
Okay. People do it
a lot of people, like, it's hard to do.
Yeah.
It's very hard to do. Like, I don't want your influence. I don't care who you are. And that served me well in my relationships in life, right? Like, motherfuckers be like, how you just get rid of, like, fam, you walked off that ledge. You don't have to bring me. In fact, you won't bring me with you.
It's a type of compartmentalization.
It is. But when she, you know, that shit just wildly fucking derailed me. So we started getting into the conversation, and she just the one thing it was like a 4-hour conversation. I'm having downstairs in the apartment outside. I'll never forget. It was a spring day.
Okay.
After work, tired as fuck, and I was just like, "Where's this coming from?" And she said, "Everything I've ever done in this world, I did for you."
Yeah.
That shit shattered my fucking world.
Yeah.
Right? Because it kind of didn't matter how she did it, because I'm still here and who I am today.
Yeah.
There's an argument to be made that it was successful, whether I liked it or not.
Yeah.
And I had to pull that back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I had to remove that wall because she's human and she was doing what she could, how she could.
Yeah.
So we have when I say we, my siblings are having, actually all of the siblings are having this thing with our multiple parental figures. One of them comes up on a topic of, like, you know, ownership, buying a house, you know, why you ain't buy a house instead of third. I'm one of the oldest, but I'm a middle, right? And my answer for that is very simple for them why they don't own a home. And the thing is, they were being parents.
Mm-hmm.
Way beyond the age that they needed to be parents.
Sure.
Still to this day, right? So you can't do that with a bunch of people who cost you money. That's number one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Number two is, fam, you think it's just easy as buying a home because you have money. There are things that go with that you are not prepared to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't know what that is until you get that home.
Yep.
And when you do that, it's very easy to say, well, you know, he never or she never taught me about this. She never taught me about that.
Pass blame.
The part of that is, fam, they taught you what they could teach you.
Right.
Absolutely.
And they didn't never not say it to us, because they did tell us, yo, all y'all should pull your money and get a place together.
Right.
Now, did they go through the lessons of doing it? No, but they said it. And that was us not rising up to that challenge.
That's okay, because that's the extent that they can say it.
That's what they could say. That's
You
all
know
they
what
could
I mean?
say. You only know what you know.
Right.
And everything else is basically
Right.
what's in that brain of yours to like tell you something that they don't know about. But they don't know how to go about it, but at least they seeded it with you.
They at least know this is a route where you should.
Everything they've ever done for us, everything they've ever done while we existed with them was for us.
Yeah.
Period. And that's the thing. I think a lot of people don't get woken up into that until they figure it out later.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's kids out here right now that don't know they walk around as if they've been given up on because they went through foster care or lived with grandma or something like that, which is this undocumented foster care, right?
Mm-hmm.
Fam, they had to do that because they thought that with them you would do much worse.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that shattered my shell.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely one of the most powerful things someone's ever said to me. So, I don't know, it's kind of a deep
can we
conversation. I might get a little deeper here.
Oh, shit.
Let's talk about the coronavirus. Specifically what it's doing to gaming. Because the PS5 and the Xbox Series X were slated to come out this year.
That name is terrible, fam.
Do we think it's happening?
Nah. I don't think it's happening this year. I think it's going to miss. At the beginning, I was like, yeah, it'll be fine. Every week, I'm seeing that it's not going to be fine. Everybody's being hit by it.
Based on what you're seeing being canceled in the industry?
Yeah. Everybody's being hit by this.
Is E3 even canceled yet?
It's not officially, no, but I'm hearing things.
People are pulling out.
I'm hearing things. People are questioning
Sony pulled
about
out.
pulling out. I mean, look who pulled out Sony pulled out before the
I think
coronavirus
Microsoft
even
pulled
did.
out.
Son, that's it. That's the end of the conference right there. That's the end of it. Unless everybody gonna shoot it in and we just do one big ass production.
All right. Can we add how much time we got? Can we add a little bit of context to this? And I understand. I understand.
What context you need?
So for people who are uninformed, there's right now a pandemic going on.
Okay, sure.
Referring to coronavirus. Coronavirus is devastating China at the current moment.
I don't think so.
If at plus 50,000 people,
not deaths.
Deaths.
Nowhere close.
Okay.
Nowhere close to that.
All right. So what news are you not watching?
Infected, yes.
No. 50,000 plus deaths.
No fucking way that number is that high.
Plus 100 or more thousand in the surrounding areas infected. It's a pandemic at the current moment.
I don't think that number is anywhere close to that high.
Okay, well, we're going to check that out right now. However,
fam, worldwide 2,700 deaths.
Worldwide.
Son, the virus is not that big of a deal.
Okay.
Let's put that in perspective right now. Well, the virus is not, there's only 2 people that are dying here.
Young people and old people.
Not young. Young people aren't even.
Children, babies.
No.
Whoa, who's dying?
No, it's older folks. It's people. It's people with
weaker immune systems,
with compromised immune systems, and people with lung issues.
Right. And I was under the impression, because this is what I'm seeing on the news. It's the news, but a few younger people had died. Like, I'm talking between the ages of 5 and 6.
But compromised immune systems. They had something going on.
No, undeveloped immune systems.
Same
child,
thing. Yes, that's compromised.
Well, a child. That's why I said it was mostly children and older people.
I understand what you're saying.
So now, whatever the numbers, it's high enough to shut down air traffic to certain areas. It's enough to quarantine places in China.
Sure.
Where 90% of the world receives products or services.
Sure.
So, that is what's going on contextually.
So
now, go ahead.
It's not that big of a deal because, let's be real here, the flu killed more people last year.
Yeah.
The issue is we know what
it just started.
We know what the flu is.
Right.
This shit, we're kind of like,
right.
And it just took another dip because there are plenty of cases where after 2 or 3 or 4 weeks, your body fights it off. And these people are fine. Plenty of cases. However, what they're starting to see is it's mutating. There are cases where people are getting reinfected. People who just came out of the battle.
And they're back in
it. Right. So now motherfuckers is like, So that's a little scary. However, when I say it's not that big of a deal, it's because it's largely the unknown around it. We don't have a cure for it. It's not like it's a fate. You ever see like Contagion or these virus movies? How a motherfucker catch it and they just instantly turn green and die?
Right.
Not what we're dealing with. That's not what we're dealing with.
No, it's not that. It's not Ebola.
Right. Like, I mean, yes, Ebola's a great, you know what I mean? And I think the point of not knowing is enough to cause panic. I get that. But I feel like we'll be okay.
Yeah.
I feel like we'll be okay.
Yeah. I'm looking for numbers' sake, 106,000 cases. 3,600.
Is that worldwide?
Yes.
Okay. And it's growing rapidly, by the way.
This is why it has become since a pandemic. 3,600 deaths, 60,000 recovered. So of the 106 cases, more than half have recovered. Well, close to half at 106.
I mean, that's
not bad.
Let's not say. So my next door neighbor,
right?
He works at the hospital in Westchester where the case in Westchester was reported.
Yes, I believe he was Jewish.
Yeah, it's a lawyer or whatever the fuck he was.
Caught it in Paris or something like that.
Yeah, and then the neighbor drove him to the hospital. He got it too.
Yeah.
They're all home. It's just the one dude because he had lung issues.
Yes.
He's still in the hospital.
Yes.
So they say, worst comes to worst, you'll feel like you had the flu for a while.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Ain't nobody turning green and disintegrating like Thanos just snapped his finger like humanity's fucked.
Yeah.
But the unknown is enough to be like, well, we still don't know which way this thing's gonna go.
So on top of that, it's part the unknown. The other half of that coin, or the other side, flip side of that coin, is the rate in which people become infected is astronomical. So we can all three be in here in this room and I can be sick. That doesn't mean that you two will be sick with a normal flu.
Sure.
However, this virus that is transmutable by close proximity airborne.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if they said it was airborne.
It's close proximity airborne. So if I sneeze or cough,
sure,
you will most certainly get it. Or if I sneeze,
I think they said it can live on shit on surfaces for
48 hours
for quite a while.
Yeah. So I think someone said it can actually live up until maybe 3 days. I don't know.
I think I've heard that number.
So, yeah. So it is if I've been touching this
That's
shit
normal
and then
shit,
you come over here, it's
very flu-esque.
Yes, it's normal shit. It's like if I had the fucking pink eye, guess what?
Yeah.
You most certainly will get it if we're in this room and the window's closed.
So I went off the deep end because I often do. Because by and large, anything I see in mass, like snow, I think is fuckery. So I'm not
in mass.
Like if everyone's telling me panic, I'm like, get the fuck off my lawn.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's now my duty to go out and research this shit. So it turns out, this is not new. This is very reminiscent of SARS. Yeah. And these things again keep coming from fucking China. Now, with that said, let me preface this. It's
swine flu.
I'm gonna tell you why. I don't like this ignorance that's going around, people beating up Asian people on a train and shit.
Yeah, nah. Well,
come the fuck on.
He sprayed her with Febreze.
Like there's a ton of stupid shit like that.
It's
People not ordering Chinese food.
Did you
They're not drinking Corona, huh?
Well, the Corona thing is the biggest thing. But did you understand my post with
Which
the
one?
Dolly Bees?
I didn't. Did I see that?
See that?
No.
You didn't see it. So I posted on my Facebook a picture of Jolly Bees, and I prefaced basically the thin line of the preface was I walked to Jolly Bees, ordered, got my food, and at that point where I got my food, I capped the clock in a total of 10 to 15 minutes. Son, and one of the most highest, busiest areas and times in New York City.
Is that the chicken spot?
Yes.
It's good chicken.
Right?
I want some.
That never happens. You need a rainy day and terrible weather
that
in order to get that
packed.
to happen. The place is always packed.
Yeah.
Not only could I do that, there was nobody in there except for one table that was being used.
Mm-hmm.
That never happens, fam.
That's some fuck shit to me.
And the whole thing about this is it's a Philippine place. It's not even Chinese.
Yeah, but to these motherfuckers, ignorance. They're all the same.
Everyone's the same.
And that was my thing. Like, you fucks are not even drinking Corona beer. You know what else is probably having a problem? We know Chinatown's having a problem. We know K-Town's having a problem. We know all these places have. But I'm willing to bet that people are that so fucking stupid that they're not even going to Corona Queens.
Or Corona Park, for that matter.
Man, fuck these people.
That's
bro.
where it lives.
Let's get back to the game thing, fam.
So what's happening here is back in the olden days, the Chinese government had a grip on agriculture,
right?
Farming and that type of shit, and wild animals, raising animals, and they realized that the government couldn't provide enough food for the people, the amount of people that was there. So they release farming and agriculture to farmers, to the people. They turned it over to them. Right. People started doing their own thing. They started doing all these exotic animals and whatnot. And it became a crazy fucking business. Right? We're talking turtles, snakes, exotic shit.
Yeah. So
essentially, the market, because the government kept a heavy stance on the main, like beef and chickens. The government was like, nah, that's us. You can have everything else. What the fuck else is left?
Rice.
You got pigs. We talking meat though. You got pigs and snakes,
right?
And all type of random fucking animals.
Right.
So because of that, the Chinese people the farmers started to become specialists in these type of specialty animals.
Right.
And China now has this very crazy market where you can have snake soup or whatever the fuck it is they make with these crazy things. The issue is regular people don't eat that shit. Regular people eat cows, and pigs, and chickens.
Yeah.
So who's eating all of this other shit that's driving this lucrative market? It's the rich people. It's the 1 or 2% in China.
Mm-hmm.
So the SARS outbreak happens, and it's traced back to a market where they slaughter all these exotic fucking animals. Mm-hmm. So they slaughter the animals. There's blood everywhere. Very unsanitary place.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
This is ground zero for this fucking disease. Right? And the government says, all y'all motherfuckers stop breeding snakes and turtles. Right. Cool. They found it. Science comes up with a cure. We good. And then the government removes the ban from doing the fuck shit. Why? Because the rich people.
Yeah.
I can't get no snake soup.
I want snake soup.
So here we go again. That same type of market is where coronavirus came from again. Mm-hmm. Again. So this is literally a lesson of the rich fucking the rest of the world. Because they can't not have their turtle soup. You get what I mean? And the places these turtles are coming from are not fucking sanitary places. So now, again, it's banned. And mainland China, everyone's like, fam, stop doing this. This is second fucking time. Mm-hmm. This is literally, like, this is wild negligible. Negligible.
Negligent.
By the Chinese.
Yeah.
And their people are just like, what are you doing? Because we're the ones that's suffering.
Right.
The poor person in China is the one that's suffering. But how else are they going to make
their money?
Their
living, rather.
So that's where this is fucking coming from, right? Here we go again. This is literally round 2 of SARS, which most people just completely forgot about.
And swine flu, don't forget.
We were in the same boat with these two things. SARS and swine flu. We're in the same fucking boat.
Swine flu.
But everyone forgets because the media, we're like, guys, relax. Everyone's like, panic. Now you can't find Clorox wipes. Mind you, that ain't gonna fucking help you do fuck all.
I got some in my fucking drawer.
So this is a context. My bad. I went off the deep end with this one.
Yeah, that was
because I enjoy seeing how many people are just fucking stupid. You know, I like to be reminded of this is why I don't listen to motherfuckers.
And this is why I don't understand how you don't connect with South Park. Because South Park is doing that in an animated form.
Yeah, I'll get this and I'll get this.
Right. So, I mean,
I only do it so that way I can break down the message that you got from South Park. Because it's not fair.
Yeah. To draw all of this, to draw all of this back to our original point. No one. Can I say that everyone is in trouble?
Yes.
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. I mean,
health wise?
No.
Okay.
No. As far as these industrial plants that put together these devices and what have you, 90. I'm not going to say. I'm not going to go on and say 90. Numbers. No numbers. A vast number of them don't even use human beings to actually fit components together. They're automated.
Doesn't matter.
I know it does matter when you don't need to fully staff the building.
All you need is one worker to come through with it, and then wasn't your phone on that list?
What?
Of like, yo, people S20s could come through.
Nah, the S20 was fine. The S20 was fine.
No. I know it's fine, but it was being talked about. Like,
really?
Get it now.
Oh, I thought you meant the availability of it.
Get it now because you don't know if you're going to get one with the virus on it.
No, that wasn't the conversation. The conversation was get it now because you don't know when you'll be able to get a new phone.
No. That's the top of the conversation.
People was, what the fuck is wrong with people?
The comments of the conversation, because you got to remember, you just said it.
That's wild.
How fucking stupid people are.
That is fucking aggravating.
The comments that was going with that was like, yo,
listen.
But this is why.
The level.
Jesus
listen.
Christ.
Once the problem is if you're going to be if you're not going to apply yourself in a situation like this, then you're going to be led astray. Rest assured, when it comes to the shipping of these things, it could pose a problem. When it comes to the manufacturing of these things,
that's where the problem is.
I don't believe that's where the problem is. I believe these plants continue to spin on as nothing is going on.
Two things. The shipping, no. These things come over here on slow boats. The virus is well dead. It's not on my phone.
Well,
it's not in the box on my phone. Like, this shit's dead.
It's not.
If it was there, it ain't there. These things take like 3-4 weeks to get from China to here. Like, we're okay.
Yeah.
And in the plants, they're not all. I know what you're saying, because I've seen they're like car factories. But remember, a robot isn't gonna put the phone, the packaging together. A person's doing that.
Well,
there's still elements of humans.
There's
doing little work.
There's a lot of humans.
Big work.
Yes.
There's still the human contact.
There's a lot of humans still in those factories.
You still need humans to operate the robots. The point that I am making is it doesn't affect the production. It only affects an aspect of the production, which does matter. It does matter. However, unless they say, nope, we're quarantining this area because the outbreak is here. Yeah. No, we have to shut this. But
you got
to
think about it from a human resource standpoint, right? These people that are working in these factories aren't the most healthy people.
Already.
Out the gate. So the likelihood that this shit's going to run rampant is very high.
Yeah, but
and Jesus Christ, have a heart.
But
quarantine the people. Close the factory.
Hold up, son. You remember when motherfuckers they wouldn't give people health care in China, and they were jumping out the fucking window?
Yeah,
and then
I do.
And then they
do you because you own an iPhone. That was at Foxconn.
Yeah.
You son of a bitch.
But so what they did? so hold up. So how they combated this was they built nets on the side of
you don't get health insurance. We gonna just catch your dumb ass before you
that is Chinese health insurance.
Sorry, but
what the fuck?
But this is the real damage. And I've said, I think me and you talk about this.
Yeah, we talked about it.
I'm not worried about the virus. I feel that your President Trump had a point. When he said just relax, fucking calm down, right?
But he did have a point.
I feel like okay,
fucking relax, B.
But the real when this shit is over with, America is gonna have a rude awakening. One, China was already like, take your fucking factories and get off my land.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I can afford to not pollute my side of the fucking world anymore. Take your factory and get the fuck up out of here.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And this is coming at a time when your boy Trump loves to be like, I'm trying to bring manufacturing back to America. No, you not. China's kicking you the fuck out. You don't get to this. You can't spin this.
Whoa, this is politics, Pop.
I can see somebody not catching that. So
yeah, but this is politics.
And hold on. So I think
it's deep.
In 24 or 48 hours, or maybe even 3 or 4 days, something like that. When everything started getting shut down out there, and the first time, and they don't know how long, they was able to see how much pollution was happening because no one was moving. Nothing was moving. No one was moving, and they was able to see that, which then pulled up the point that Ramon just made. So I just wanted to put that out there.
It's wild. And then what Americans are starting to realize, right?
Right.
Everything is pro-American. It's the funniest shit. You guys, was I talking to you? You guys heard about Shinola?
No.
Shinola is this a brand. They make watches.
Okay.
Yeah,
they're down in Dumbo, right? Yeah, they're attractive watches, whatever. The price point's like anywhere from $700 to $1,200 for their watches. Maybe some a little cheaper. Their thing is there are Swiss-made watches made in Detroit. Wait, what the fuck did I just say? These are Swiss-made watches made in Detroit. That's their entire fucking market.
Right.
Son, again, when I see shit like this, I'm off the deep end.
Right.
Well, is it Swiss parts or Swiss made?
Here we go. So I did the research.
Because it sounds like they're Swiss parts.
The watch community was like, suck my dick.
Right.
Yeah. Suck my
And then they came back and was like, my bad. We send our watchmakers to Switzerland to learn the techniques. And then they come back here and make the watches.
It's still not
Swiss made. That ain't Swiss made. It ain't Swiss parts. It ain't Swiss made.
You can't even put the Swiss cross
It ain't Swiss movement without Swiss parts. Get the fuck off my lawn, right?
You know what this is? This is chitlins made by Martha Stewart.
No, 1,000%. 1,000%. So what happens now? Now people are like, all right, whatever. So the marketing's on some fuck shit, whatever. They're still good watches. They buy them. What do you see on the back of these watches?
Swiss.
Made in China.
Whoa.
Made in China.
Whoa.
And I guarantee you, not on the back of the watch, right? But if you take off the back and look inside the back, made in China. Like, these fucks can't even hide it properly. And I feel like Americans are under this veil where, like, they feel like you'll be all right. Like, fam, 90%, and I may be pulling this number out of my ass, but 90% of the shit we rely on is not made in America.
Hey, you goddamn right. That's what the number comes from.
And the problem is, no one in America is going to A, pay the prices to buy the shit when it's made in America, and B, no one in America is gonna go work to make the shit in America.
Yeah.
So when this shit is said and done, and China says, "Get the fuck off my land," now Tim Cook, what did Trump call him? Apple Cook?
Yeah.
He's gonna be like,
fucking hilarious, by the way.
And now, actually, all Apple products are made in America behind some fucking mountain that they're gonna name, right? And now your iPhone's gonna cost you $2,500.
Son, fuck that.
Who's doing that? And then there's gonna be factory workers, right? That's gonna have to work in those plants to make it.
McDonald's.
But fam, you still ain't shit. So you're gonna get paid minimum wage.
McDonald's.
Apple's out here paying people minimum wage. It don't matter though, because you still need that iPhone. And rinse and repeat.
Minimum wage is kind of high now.
Son, minimum wage is just the dumbest shit I've ever seen.
It means nothing.
If you raise the price of minimum wage, everything else around it goes up. It's a ratio that matters, not the fucking number.
That's a fact.
So you're going to pay the employees in McDonald's $12 an hour. Now my burger's $7. They still can't afford it.
And that's what is happening. It's called inflation.
Son.
So what the problem is, because minimum wage is what's called the standard. So what is the average number that an American can make throughout the year? Well, it's minimum wage.
What is the average? Is it 30 grand? I think the average American makes. Is it that high?
Yeah. I want to say I believe it is. So say for instance, all right, so they're going off of minimum wage. What is the average number at minimum wage? It's between
30.
Well, it was
32.
between but it was between $10 and $13 at minimum wage.
Sure.
They are trying to raise it to 15, 17,
just
somewhere
an
between
arbitrary
15,
number.
Yeah,
like
it's
fam, just raise it to 40. I don't know. What the fuck? Just raise it to 40. Who cares?
Yeah,
everything else around it's gonna scale.
So the thing about raising the number to minimum wage, that does not mean that a company has to pay you, has to afford you the hours at minimum wage. Yep. First of all, so if you work for a company like McDonald's, Macy's, if you're in retail, that is a very good point. Retail and these places,
everybody's part-time.
Everybody is either part-time or you're just not getting full-time hours. So anything above a part-time hours well, you can't say full-time, but you can't say part-time.
No, it's totally there's no law that says you have to give a motherfucker 80 hours a week,
right?
Every 2 weeks, or whatever it is.
You might get 36 hours.
You might get 12. So you're getting 12 an hour, but you're getting 12 hours, and you're making the same on your check.
Absolutely.
Oops.
Yeah. Yeah. You make.
But you won the fight though.
And they're still raising the cost of the average hamburger.
Yeah.
So there's always a fucking loophole.
Yeah. Going back to the original topic, I fear that what's going to happen outside of this.
Right.
One, China's going to realize how big their dick is, and then they're going to raise their manufacturing costs to the point where we have to make a decision. Do we bring it home or do we leave it in China? Either way, prices are going to go up. That's my feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Or we'll just outsource some other fucking third world country to make the shit.
Hey, son, and that's the sad part because, son, that's some fuck shit.
I saw snow.
That's some. So I think Indonesia is on the fucking list all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And these people are piss fucking poor. The caste system. Son, don't do that, son. They're already pissing shitting in the same river that they're washing their clothes and drinking their water.
Son.
Now this is where we getting our iPhones from. How do you feel, fam?
Son.
Diamonds on forever.
Son. Also, I lost my point. It was going to be a funny one, but
son, this shit is heartbreaking. B.
It's. I don't mean to laugh. Please don't kill me in any comment section. Or I'm not laughing at another race's hardships, but the idea that a $1 billion company, a Fortune 500 company, can go from China, can be booted out of China, only to go to another third world country with that criteria, pissing and shitting in the river that you wash your body in, just to produce. Like, quite honestly, Nike was in that one situation.
They still are.
They are. They have since. They are trying to make it better, but it's not that much better.
I can, and let's be for real here. I will never not have Nikes or an iPhone. This is not what I'm saying.
Yeah, son.
But I'm saying, fam, I'm willing to pay more to sleep at night.
Yo, to anyone, if anyone's
topic,
listening, where he's been hit in the head earlier, we're not paying more for nothing. We're not paying more for nothing.
It's because of motherfuckers like this.
No. Because you know why? You know why you can't put that out there? Because like, well, okay, guess what? Little dudes in Indonesia still gonna make it $2,500 for that iPhone.
Yeah.
We're gonna get everything we can get now before it crumbles.
Meanwhile, Apple will not give these motherfuckers health insurance,
son,
to stop them from jumping out the window, but they still need that 70% markup no matter what.
And the price is still going up on the fucking phone.
The price goes up.
Son,
the price goes up no matter what happens, son.
What was the conversation that was off camera?
This shit's insane.
What was the conversation that was off camera? If you tell the dealer that you're pre-approved, and they're gonna go, okay,
10 grand extra, you son of a bitch.
Exactly. Now we're gonna see if we can get 10 more out of you.
Son.
So you can't. Same
but
thing
this
with
is
our
a
phone.
company that's waving the humanity flag like we love the world.
Fam,
man, get the fuck out of my face.
I'm trying to like let all these things go on because I just feel like I'm being baited through this whole conversation.
I am.
Like,
I am definitely trying to bait you.
Son, this is capitalism. This is what capitalism does.
I'm trying not to like. That's why I'm being so quiet because so much of it, fam, is just.
All
like,
right, so let me see if we can. So you think you think the two consoles are delayed?
They should be delayed.
They should be delayed,
right? They
but
should
I
be
don't.
delayed.
I don't think
they will be.
I think they'll be limited. I think it'll be limited to a certain.
Here's why I don't want that to happen.
And that's going to start the fucking
problems.
War, son.
Sneaker problems.
Now you paying $1,200 for one because there was only 5 of them made.
Hold up, we went through this before though.
No,
the PlayStation 1 was an issue.
Son, the PlayStation 1 was like $1,200 in Brazil or some shit.
Son, it was more than that.
Son, so
you had to be a dictator in Brazil to afford a PlayStation.
Exactly.
Look at that. Remember the mini, and I'm throwing shit at a wall. Look, that's funny. That's funny that I say it like that. Remember the mini, what was it? The Nintendo?
Oh yeah,
the 1,000 fucking games.
Yeah.
And then they came out with the Super Nintendo.
So that shit was like drugs for weeks.
It's sold for under $100.
Yeah.
However, it's limited. It's a limited.
It was $50 and it sold for.
It markup was almost $250.
I've seen it for like $300.
It cost the price of a fucking full-fledged Xbox.
Meanwhile, those games look like shit.
But you know what? That's what the people wanted. So it's going to be that all over again.
Yeah.
People are going to say, you're going to get this limited run of PlayStation 5s and Xbox Ones. They're coming.
Yeah. I hope they don't do that, man.
And they're going to be fighting tooth and nail.
Because I'm getting mine. Let me put that out there. I'm fucking getting mine, son.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
This is probably going to be.
I probably won't play it, but I will get it.
I'm going to resell the fuck out of it.
Oh, yeah. You'll probably get about 2,000. What was one of these fucking...
I think the 64... The PS1, I think the N64 was in rare.
It was rare, but the Nintendo 64 had a different situation.
Some motherfuckers was breaking into your house.
They did the Fast and Furious heist.
Yeah,
on a truck.
They did the whole truck. They did the whole truck, son.
Like there was a whole like Ocean 11 situation.
Son, the shit was on the news. Like motherfuckers was breaking in people's houses, leaving the jewelry, but taking the 64.
You can Google that, fam. That's
how you break in somebody's house? Like I don't want your Jesus piece. I don't want your diamonds.
I want to
come up off this Nintendo, fam.
I want to play
Pilot Wing 64.
GoldenEye.
No, because it wasn't out yet.
Nah.
In 64?
No, GoldenEye wasn't out yet.
Nah,
GoldenEye wasn't a long
time. It was just Mario.
I thought
it was
GoldenEye was
Mario.
a release time.
Nah, fam. Pilot Wing 64 and Mario 64. And,
it was one ass game that was doing this.
And Wave Runner 64.
Yeah, I didn't have Mario when it came out that season. I got it for Christmas.
That season.
I had the release season. The release.
I'm talking about release.
Yes, the release season.
No, the release day, because that game came out later, so you had time in between the half. Right, but you had time in between that. That
it came out in November.
By the time that was happening, this is when all the heist was happening.
Oh, that shit's crazy. That's crazy.
Son.
Wow.
Because remember, GoldenEye was an instant hit, but it was still a slow rise to the top.
It was. I had
because who the fuck had 4 controllers?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I didn't really need it. Was one and done or 2 because it was split screen.
I'm gonna say something.
I'm
gonna say something, and nobody wants to say this, but
N64 was better than PlayStation and.
No, what I was gonna say was that
he coming with some wild bullshit right now.
That GoldenEye is wild trash.
Son, you know what? I agree with that. GoldenEye is fucking trash.
Yeah. The best thing about GoldenEye,
the Golden Guns,
is the multiplayer, right?
Yeah. That was revolutionary at the time.
That's the best thing about it.
Controllers can suck my dick.
I'll let the controllers rock because there's only one analog. That's just a fault of the time. But the game is trash. But shout out to them because I know the history behind the game, and this is something I won't change because now I know the history of the game.
Yo, aiming was a shit show.
Son,
yes.
Okay, that's fine. But they had to do with the best that they could do with those controls. Because how could you aim on Siphon Filter?
You couldn't.
So therefore it's better than Siphon Filter.
What the fuck did I games? I had Turok Dinosaur Hunter. I had GoldenEye.
And then why did Turok work, right?
Turok worked.
Yeah, but why? But how?
It seemed like it was based off of Doom. It operated like Doom.
Huh.
But that's what I'm trying to say. You can't make a shooter game the way that GoldenEye was. Let's put it like this. Let's take Ghost Recon. Let's take SOCOM. Let's take Spec Ops. And let's take Rainbow Six. And if we was to Nintendo 64 that, right? None of those games could operate the way that Turok and Doom did. None of them. They had to move the way that GoldenEye did.
Fuck Nintendo, son.
It was hard.
And Mario.
So here's my thing.
So not Mario.
So here's my thing about the delay. I think for humanity and scare tactics or whatever, let's just put it back a year. You don't even have to put it back a year. We could wait till March. Let's just let's offset the cycle.
Fair.
I understand that we've come to tradition, quote, right? Of it's October, get your November dates ready. I understand that. I'm big on that, right?
Sure.
However, this is something bigger than us. So don't create this problem that Nike has with sneakers for something that is avoidable. You're on no one's timetables, right? This
Agreed.
is your timetable. Now, I understand there's marketing and promotion and all this stuff that goes into the place, but you always supposed to have a contingency plan when it's stuff like this. When I was in a certain business, if a person dies, we had to have that messaging ready, especially if we had something in play. It's the same situation. If a war would have started between any two countries, you think I'm out here worried about when I'm getting my next console?
I think you are because you're not being drafted.
Well, okay, that's fine. But at the same time, people were like, all right, cool. All right, well, if there's a war happening and my PlayStation could get blown up 14 hours into its journey over here, I think I'll wait.
Yeah.
Like, let's clear these waters up. And at the same time, this isn't PS1 into PS2 era or PS2. I guess you could say it's a PS3. Son, the consoles are fine right now. I'm not saying fine for the rest of time. What I'm saying is another 4 to 6, if not a year, won't hurt.
My graphic card scoffs at your assessment, sir.
Hey, graphics cards, right? That's why we PC game, right?
And we're going to talk about that soon.
That's why we PC game. But I guarantee you the coronavirus is going to affect that market pretty soon, too.
You best believe I'm buying that new NVIDIA card, not to game, but to resell.
Yeah.
Son, I want that in my damn rig.
So I think it delay. I think it will delay.
I hope they do, and I hope neither one of them do some scumbag shit and try to jump out the gate early.
Son, wait for the
and
scumbag.
Leave the other shit.
My thing is this:
wait for the scumbag.
I called 8 years.
8 years for what?
Before the next console hit, and because
where are we at now? What's the number?
It's 7. Because of what's happening, this 8 years is looking more logic.
So you manufactured the coronavirus?
Why not?
I'm gonna tell you what. I think it's not happening because it's not the by the gift of God, who also created the coronavirus. If they were able to get these consoles out the factory, there's still so much around it. There's the accessories, the controllers, the headsets. There's other vendors who got to prepare their peripherals. Like, you can't just launch with an industry, not a whole entire support industry around you that's just not there.
All right, so here's another thing. Right, because we're talking, we're narrowing down on the hardware, right? And you just brought up third party, which is also hardware. I want to talk about software for a second, right? All this stuff is not finalized. I don't care what they say, right? And then on top of it, you got, was it Bungie? Or I forget who it is.
Fuck
I know,
Bungie.
yeah, I knew you were gonna say that's why I threw their name out there.
Wait,
you
fuck
got
Bungie?
Yeah, don't worry about that. That's a topic for another time. So you got these people saying like, "Hey, fam, y'all can work from home." I'm gonna tell you this right now. A lot of these people are not equipped to work from home.
Yeah.
And in the capacity that they need to crunch, because crunching in gaming is a thing, right? So if today they're working from home, there's games that are slated for this year that are probably going to miss their date now because the people got to work from home.
That they lose. A lot of productivity.
There's a lot of things at stake here by people having to work from home because you know who can't work from home?
Me.
The people who me too. The people who need to go ahead and help make these goddamn consoles so they can come out.
Text me when y'all get home. I'll be home.
You know what I mean?
I'm actually home.
So like, it's a thing to where it's not a big deal. We'll be here next year.
Yeah.
Son, no one's going to hurt. In fact, I think
it's a manufactured timeline.
I think
they could afford
that
to push it. I agree with you.
This could be one of the most unique opportunities for, I can't say everybody, but definitely for gaming. Right, because one, we, as much as it pains me to say this, we don't really need E3, and we don't really need EDC.
Facts.
And we don't really need the GDC. We don't really need PAX East.
Facts.
I love these things. I do not want these things to go away. However, in a situation like this is very bad for these conventions because once the first sign of this badness is, to me, Nintendo when they pulled out of E3. And what they've been doing since with their treehouse events and how they can control the message and not have to do this. And then
it works.
The next best thing that happened was the PlayStation 4 meeting when they unveiled the whole thing and how that marketing and carrying went on. And then you know who else did it? And they kind of took an L for this? Xbox with the infamous TV thing. All of them stood on their own timeline and was able to deliver their marketing, whether to a greater or lesser degree. And with this particular thing, makes it that much better. What y'all probably don't know is, son, those who are involved in the Nintendo world had a direct messaging almost every other month. They wake up early in the morning and they're watching this. You telling me Bethesda can't do this? You telling me EA can't do this? You telling me that Microsoft can't do this? You telling me that Ubisoft can't do this? You telling me that Sony can't do this? Son, This is gonna have an effect on way more than just like dropping a console.
Fuck these shows.
Son,
I shouldn't have to get on Las Vegas to go fucking smell nerds.
Let my niggas live.
I'm not going to Las Vegas for this thing anyway. I'm just gonna watch it on YouTube.
Fuck that. And to segue, I made a I'm not buying a new fucking camera. Some shit's got to change.
What's up?
A lot of it's. Not a lot of it, but this is the Corona shit. So I've been stockpiling my pennies, waiting for the next camera to come out.
Mm-hmm.
And you know the XT4 came out, the Fuji.
Yep.
And I've been like, huh.
Beautiful. I seen it in person. It's beautiful.
But it ain't enough.
Get it going. So.
I think it's a shortage.
It looked like the XT3s.
It does,
but
which looks like the fucking XT2, which is what I have.
Like the XT1. And it's like, fam, is this a beautiful looking camera?
My problem is Canon's in trouble. Canon shut down like 4 of their factories because of this, the coronavirus thing, right? So that's happening.
Mind you, they also here in Long Island.
That's happening. We're waiting for Sony. We're waiting to see what happens to Sony. And I think Sony is not going to say anything, because if Sony says we're shutting down the camera factories, you know what else motherfuckers going to start speculating
Dominoes.
The plate. Ooh, they shut down the PlayStation joint too?
Yeah.
The PlayStation joint too? Like, so I don't expect Sony to come out and be like, but I know they're affected too, right? Olympus, I don't know. It's 2 people that buy Olympus, like whatever. So I feel like all these companies are really, really being affected by this. And not only is it bad timing for these camera manufacturers, too, these motherfuckers is just not pushing hard enough. So there's a very real conversation to be had that Sony was out here aiming at people's heads when they came out with their cameras.
To get attention.
My NEX 5T that's like 6 or 7 years old had Bluetooth and NFC. What in the fuck, son?
Easy.
My car has NFC.
But that's besides the point.
Son,
yes,
this shit was.
You're right though. At the same time, but you're right. That's a shame.
This shit had it when it wasn't even called NFC. It was near field communication. I was like, what is that?
Yeah,
NFC.
And then now all of a sudden, it's I don't know. It's maybe a mix of both. Is Sony slowing down in innovation in the camera world, or did the rest of the industry catch up? You know what I mean?
Might be a little bit of both.
I think it's a little bit of both, and I feel like they're not pushing the envelope anymore. What frustrates me the most is I'm out here buying a phone with 100x optical zoom. What the fuck, son?
Oh, Nikon got something for that.
Nikon ain't got fuck all for that.
Yes, they do.
What Nikon got for that?
You might not want it, but they got you want zoom?
Son, you talking about those bridge cameras?
What bridge cameras?
You talking about the bridge camera?
What's the bridge?
It looks funny. It's got a big ass lens, but it's kind of like a point and shoot.
Nah, not that one. Well, okay, I get what you're saying. You could be talking about that one.
Those are called bridge cameras.
You call those bridge cameras?
They're not point and shoots, but they got a big ass lens on them.
You know what camera I call that?
What?
I can see up God's nose camera.
Oh, son. Fuck out. Son, I'm not. They need to. Son.
You've never seen this camera, have you?
I don't know what the fuck y'all talking about.
I'll let you know.
All you got to know is Google comes out with a fucking phone that can shoot star astrology photography. Astrology. Is it? Whatever. Astronomy, yes.
Astrology.
On a fucking phone, son.
Whatever.
I just want to confirm.
Yeah, it's a bridge camera.
Let me see.
Yeah.
Nah, you, sir, go to YouTube and type in, I'm not even going to tell you this one, type in Nikon P900 zoom test.
There are those are very good actually, because the lens lives inside the housing, and there's a few of those. Nikon makes one. Canon has one as well. Mm-hmm. I forgot who else makes one.
The new one is a P1000, but I want you to look at the old one because it's just magnificent.
My problem is
no plug.
Computation.
P1000
900. Start with the 900.
Computation for computational photography
yes.
is fucking killing it.
Yes.
And until these camera manufacturers get that shit in a camera, I'm not buying another camera, fam.
So here's my thing with that. Wait, there's another one. What's another one? Do you have another one that was on your list? Because this computational photography thing's been an issue for you for about 2 or 3 years.
That's it.
No, you had another one.
Why I wasn't buying a camera?
No, like, yo, fam, put it in the camera already.
No, it was computational photography.
So here's the issue. You have the battle of 3 sides. There's one who won it all, right? Then you got the purists, and then you got these assholes who I call the mobile people, right? And a lot of them, I also say, are gear people or tech people or fake tech people who are taking what we do with phones and now translating over to cameras and stuff.
Yeah.
So
they're driving the fucking prices now.
So who the hell do you listen to? The people who are going to spend $12,000 on a Leica, or the people who's telling you, I can just do that on my phone?
Yeah.
Who do you listen to?
Yeah.
Because the computational the computational photography is literally, in my opinion, right? So I pick one of those 2 words. Fam, you can't do this with your phone. Your shots will never come out like this with your phone. Oh yeah? Software.
Yeah. That's the argument.
Software.
Yeah.
When the argument is what we tell people all the time. Fam, you bought a $7,000 camera to use auto.
Yeah.
And then people get mad at you for calling them out for using auto. Fam, why are you mad at me? You bought a $7,000 camera, a $3,000 lens, and your cameras and your photos still look trash.
Say it all the time.
Because you're using autofocus.
Say it all the time.
Why would you buy Godzilla to go grocery shopping?
Son, fuck the camera industry right now.
I agree with one thing. And to answer your other question, right? I believe companies like Sony slow down on purpose, right? Because they came out and were saying, "Yo, you should have this. This is silly." Because the biggest issue why the phone started, once the technology of the phone started getting better, what was this thing? Fam, I could just go straight from my phone to it wasn't Instagram at the time, to Twitter, to Facebook, to Facebook or to Twitter. So why would I want to take just a regular photo and then go home and then plug it in and deal with your rinky-dink service or deal with your rinky-dink software that's probably going to do something weird to my computer? I got to install. It's too much.
Yeah, absolutely.
When I could just take this picture with this, because now the quality don't matter. Fine. Then the camera started getting better, so now then we had that argument, right? Okay, cool. You got that Nikon Coolpix something, or that Canon PowerShot something, or that Sony CyberShot something. Forget about the bigger cameras. These little point and clicks that's going everywhere.
Yep.
I gotta wait. Sony was like, "Nah, fam, we're gonna do the Bluetooth thing, and we're gonna make it complicated for you, but it's Bluetooth." All right, they figured that out. Then they figured out the NFC thing, and they still found a way to complicate that, but it was easier than everything else. So now they wanted the first to go ahead and go do all that. What else can they do? Right? At that time, everybody got to catch up. Now they catching up, and you got to wait because now you're spending money on resources and stuff that no one's willing to pay for.
There's no headroom left for Sony. Mm. And what I mean by that is when they first started, they had a long road ahead of them.
Yeah.
The argument never really was about the quality of the image. There were a few things that were missing.
My number one thing that I remember here people talking about with Sony was I need more lenses.
That's number 2.
Okay.
The number 1 issue was the focusing was never as good as DSLRs.
Okay, well then I leave that alone.
And then number 2, you motherfuckers had no lenses.
I feel like that's one and the same.
Right?
Right.
And by no lenses, Sony launched the Alpha 7 series with full frame sensors.
A-mounts, right?
No. These were E-mounts, FE mounts.
Oh, you're talking about for these mirrorless joints?
Yeah.
Okay.
For the mirrorless joints.
Okay.
They launched,
that beef was with the A-mounts too.
Yeah, the A-mounts were fine. I had no beef with the A-mount camera. So the E-mounts is when they really started like, let's do it.
Right.
Because it was all new technology.
Right.
Remember, A-mount was purchased from Minolta.
Right.
So there was like
they still had no lenses.
Yeah. So when people said they had no lenses, they were referring to the E-mounts.
Yeah. No, but I'm fine. I was an Alpha user. People were like, "Yo, fam, I ain't got no lenses. I had to go buy Minolta lenses."
But remember, Sony wasn't pushing the A series anymore. So I think it's fair for a consumer to go in and be like, "I want your latest and greatest." You're like, "Here."
Yeah.
And they be like, "I ain't got no lens."
Yeah.
Right. So because the A7 was a full frame sensor size, Sony was doing this bullshit where all the lenses were f4. Mm-hmm. Well, you don't need nothing faster than f4 because it's a big ass sensor. It was like, what?
Right.
That was what rubbed a lot of photographers wrong.
Yeah.
Because they were staunch on that point. And people didn't know, you don't plan on coming out with any f2.8 lenses?
Right.
I'm good over here.
Yeah.
And your autofocus sucks?
Yeah.
That was that.
Right.
Then it was like, yo, my bad. Just kidding.
Right.
Here's that lens you want for $3,000.
Right.
Oh, God.
Right?
Right.
So people were like, what the fuck?
Right.
And then not only was it $3,000, it negated the whole size of the mirrorless thing.
Right.
Because it was big fucking glass.
Listen.
And the faster you make a lens, the bigger the glass is, the bigger the lens.
This is what you asked for.
This is what you asked for. So Sony's doing all of that shit, right? And they're hammering away.
Shout out to Sigma.
And they're starting to fill in the gaps. Mm-hmm. You got your 20, your 24 to 70s 2.8, your 70s to 210 2.8. You got your wide angle 2.8. You got your 13. You got fucking 85 millimeter 1.2s, 1.8. Like they're starting to like bang.
Yeah.
And then last year or year before, they finally came out with the big boy, the 500 millimeter prime for wildlife. Right. That was what was missing.
Right.
Because that's where Nikon and Canon still was. Because that's what you see on the side of sports games and wildlife.
$5,000
right?
Fucking go.
So now everybody's like yes. 12. So they dropped the lens and now they started to attack the autofocus problem.
Right.
To the point where they came out with a camera that was retarded.
Is that the A9?
That was the A9.
Yeah.
People was like, what the fuck?
Right.
So Sony's got it.
Right.
Now what's happening? And when it started to see the shift when Nikon and Canon was like, yeah, we'll get to mirrorless. And now they started to show up.
Yeah.
Remember, people was like, yo, Sony's glass is just too expensive. I would love to, but their glass is too expensive. So Nikon and Canon shows up in the mirrorless world.
Mm-hmm. Doing mediocre
with
shit.
Glasses, with lenses more expensive than Sony.
Yeah.
So people are like, wait.
And mediocre features.
Now, here's the thing. Here's the issue with where Sony is in trouble here. Nikon and Canon both developed new mounts.
Yeah.
Specifically for
mount
mirrorless.
And all that stuff, yeah.
Yeah, for Nikon it was a Z mount, and for Canon I think it's the R mount.
Right.
These mounts are physically bigger than what Sony has.
Right.
Which means their glass is going to be better.
Right.
And if you know Canon and Nikon, they probably won't take as long to get the glass.
Right.
So now Sony's at kind of a disadvantage.
Right.
Right? You can't argue sensors because Sony makes Nikon sensors. So you're going to tell me I love my Nikon? Whatever, motherfucker. That's a Sony.
That's why I laugh at people all the time.
Yeah,
and I'm not a photographer. So
Canon is Canon or whatever. Fuck Canon.
They just dismiss me.
But now it's like, damn, Sony's in a position where they, in another like 3 or 4 years, they might be behind. And I don't see how they're going to shock the industry unless they go medium format. I don't know what's left.
I wouldn't go medium format.
I don't know. I mean, medium format's a whole nother fucking beast. But I don't know what's left in the industry. What's left is computational photography.
So here's the thing.
You fucking make, and Sony's in a very unique position. You make phones.
Yeah.
You make a fucking PlayStation.
Yeah.
You make all this electronic shit. You know how to get that rocking on these cameras.
But
Canon and Nikon don't.
But I don't, is computational photography on Sony Xperia phones?
None of them. Yes. Yeah. So computational photography is a fancy word for software.
Yeah, I know.
Making up for the camera sucking.
But I know at that level, but I'm talking about at the level that we've been talking about for the last 3 years.
HDR is computational photography, yes.
Again, but for the level that we're talking about for the last 3 years. Because it's been in there. Because
they've got HDR video.
Because remember when you said you flashed the HTC M7?
Yeah.
And the CyanogenMod and all that stuff, and it killed the camera.
Yeah,
that was computational photography there.
No. Computational photography it's think of it as image trickery.
That's what the HTC M7 was doing.
What do you mean? Oh no, I got you. I thought you meant kill. Yes.
And we took the picture.
Yeah.
And it was like, yo.
Yes.
Yo, fam, what do I gotta do? I gotta get. I forget what you said. You gotta get the bootloader or something like that.
Yeah.
To get the camera back.
Son, it's fucking annoying. Because imagine this, right? You take your camera out and you have to know what you're doing to capture a picture of the Milky Way.
Yeah.
This is no small feat.
Yeah.
You need to know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I consider myself an experienced photographer, not because I'm the best photographer in the world, but because I put a lot of effort into learning the tech side of it as well.
So you know what's what.
And I would go out and be like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's no small feat.
Right.
Google shows up with a phone that does it. Point at the fucking stars and hit the button.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you telling me?
Yeah.
With a sensor this small.
Yeah.
So Google has said, let's figure out a way to compensate to compensate for the sensor just being the size of a fucking pea. And they got it right. Can you imagine what that looks like on a real camera?
Right.
So I could probably see God.
Yeah. Hiding behind a tree.
You put that type of technology in a camera, you may never have to open Photoshop ever again. So you took out the camera on the Galaxy S20 Ultra, whatever the fuck this thing is called. It does this thing where people are complaining about. It smooths skin. And it sharpens hair.
Yeah.
Son, that's the reason people put portraits in Photoshop from a camera.
Yeah. So
are you getting it right off your phone in real time right now?
So here's the thing.
Man, fuck these camera manufacturers.
So here's the thing, right? I believe there's a lot of backdoor handshakes happening. And I know that it happens in other industries, so there's no way that it's not happening here. What you just said cripples so many people. Because again, what's happening with our phones? And it just didn't start happening these past 3 or 4 or 5 years. It was about 4 years ago when you told me about that grown woman who couldn't see or understand why the photo from your professional multi-$1,000 camera didn't look like her iPhone photo.
Yeah, her Snapchat.
From Snapchat.
Yeah.
Which is what's going on today. People having problems with what they look like because of Snapchat and all these other filters, right?
Or you don't have Bambi eyes.
Right. So
fucking stop it.
So like once you do that, you're disrupting probably a money pact. What? Adobe says what? You doing what? You gonna do what? That's gonna disrupt what?
Son, I'm so frustrated with the whole shit. I'm speaking up with my wallet. I'm not buying another camera. I'll probably buy one next week.
They'll get you another day. They'll get you tomorrow.
Yeah, probably.
Today.
They'll get you tomorrow.
Listen,
Listen, fam.
I'll be watching.
Fam, a lot of the things that we're asking for
they watch
today.
Too.
You don't see how crazy that is. How long we've been asking for it.
Son,
and the
NFC
and the NFC situation was a very easy situation for them to been fixed, because you know what else was easy? Yo, just let me plug the damn thing to my goddamn computer, and just let me drag the photos off. Don't try to put me into your Canon program, to your Nikon program, and
I think that one was fixed for a while though.
Yeah, but
it used to be a pain in the ass.
But it was a pain in the ass.
Yeah. And then each company had their own raw
Fuji
file.
had one. No, they still got their own raw files.
They still do. But now, by and large, everything kind of works.
So it's like, to me, you see it because it keeps happening. It's just like, what did we find out about the Optima last week?
The Telluride.
No.
Oh, yeah. It's the same shit as the Sonata.
Yeah.
There's something going on behind the scenes there.
Yeah. And it's like, I remember I told you, I was like, fam, I don't know why they like the same car to me, but I lean towards the Optima.
They are.
And you was like, no, it's not. And then we watched the video.
Because Kia's Korean owned and Hyundai's owned by Mercedes. I don't understand what the fuck's going on behind the scenes.
And then we watched a video doing homework on something else. Fam, don't expend no energy on that. We watched a video that was talking about something else, and the dude just dropped it in there for no reason. He just dropped it. It was a really quick line. He dropped it in there.
Caught me. I was like, wait, what?
What did it say?
It's under the same fucking vehicle.
Yeah.
Even the Telluride and the Palisade.
Same vehicle.
They're the same fucking vehicle.
Yeah.
I don't know I guess it makes sense because now you got the Toyota, you got the Supra and the Z5 or whatever the fuck BMW is calling it.
It's the difference between Lexus and Toyota and Scion.
But
no, now they're jumping son, for a while. You remember back in the 90s? Son, Chrysler was legit selling Benzes. They were D-badged Benzes.
Yeah, Chrysler was
Chrysler Daimler.
Daimler Chrysler.
Right, but now they're like jumping ships, and then it's not new because if you even go back, you remember the Fox Mustang, like Maddie's Mustang.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's called a Fox body Mustang.
Yeah.
People thought it's because it looked like a. It's not. That chassis code is called a Fox.
Yeah.
They shared that with who was it? It was Ford and somebody else. Mm-hmm. Totally random. Shared that same chassis.
Yeah.
So you could buy a Mustang, you could buy whatever the fuck that was that nobody knew.
I'm about to. It's coming to my mind because I have a conversation with my uncle about that car.
Son, it's
because a lot of people call it Box.
No,
it's Fox.
Yeah, it's Fox.
Yeah,
it's Fox. It's just wild, like the behind it, like you and I working in fashion. I got to keep reminding myself of this. Everyone's owned by someone.
Yeah.
Very few operates on their own. Like you've got like your Hermes, your Chanel, but other than that, everybody else is in a big ass group. Ran by a big conglomerate.
sharing ideas. Everybody is has a seat at the table who should be there at the table. It's just like Hummer and GM vehicles. Hummer wasn't a GM company until GM bought them and then they sold them, or they actually parted ways with them. And Jaguar
yep.
and Ford.
Jaguar and Ford. And then it got even weirder because the engines in fucking Land Rovers
were Fords at one time.
Were Fords, and then it were BMWs, and like it's just
now I think there's still BMW.
It's still BMW, yeah.
And it's
it's all over the place. So.
Yeah, I feel like that's all. That's not because a person can't say, oh well, that's why my BMW engine is in your Land Rover. That's not something
that's not how it works.
It's in the Land Rover, yeah. But that doesn't make it your BMW better than my Land Rover.
Yeah. Or vice versa.
Right. It's in there because we don't want to build engines.
Right. They license the shit.
Right.
Ain't nobody try to build shit from scratch.
Yeah. No one. Until somebody else builds another engine that we think may be more efficient.
We were talking about this the other day, and because of this very reason, Nissan Infinity is ass.
We were talking about that
because they're stuck with that fucking VQ six-cylinder that's in every fucking Maxima and Altima.
Yeah.
And as a conglomerate, Nissan is not doing well.
Right.
They can't afford to just break a production line to go do some old next shit. Like, nah, fam, it's the same fucking engine as in the Skyline.
Yeah.
Like
God damn it, son!
Yeah.
I'm not buying your Skyline, Sentra, or Infinity.
Yeah. And I'm willing to step out on the ledge and say, no, it's not the same engine in the Skyline, only because and I know tuning and
sure.
Tuning makes is a huge issue or a huge thing. Engine to engine, but that engine that's in the Infinity, like the Q60, Q70, because the Q70 is the two-door, the Q60, and it might be backwards, but the Q70 is the two-door, and maybe the Q80 is the two-door, one or the other, but they both have the fucking shitty engine, and this is where nigga, don't at me. Oh, you fucking Infinity people, and this isn't a car podcast, and we weren't talking about cars, but I'm telling you, your fucking Infinity is ass.
I don't really respect them.
There is nothing you can do.
I'm not mad at a man that work hard and you want something that looks like a nice car.
Oh no, it looks like a nice car.
It even sounds like a nice car.
Yeah,
until a nice car pulls up.
And then what are you gonna do? What is your answer?
Fuck off my lawn with that bullshit.
Son, the fucking bullshit.
I have a disdain for that company, but whatever.
Yeah, man.
Before we sign off, sir, what say you about Kanye and his season 8?
Season 8.
It's the Mercury.
Yeah, it was Mercury. That's what I was trying to. Yeah.
I feel like it was a Kanye West fashion. I don't even want to call it a fashion show because I know fashion shows tend to be a bit longer than that. It was cute.
Well, it was. You just get 7 songs on the album.
Yeah. It was cute. It was cute to see his daughter.
You gonna do that right now, fam?
Yeah.
This dude just ruined 2 albums, fam. That 7 garbage.
Respect the kick,
seven track rollout.
Respect the kick.
He actually, you know what? F it. He ruined 3 albums with that 7 trash.
Yeah,
Pusha T,
arguably
Nas, Tiana Taylor.
Pusha T is what they're saying may have made out better, but yeah, nah.
So you like the showing at the show? I know it's difficult for you to ingest because your Runway ain't really your thing.
Well, it's not so much as that it's not my thing. It takes me a little while to wrap my brain around Kanye West's thought process when when designing his things. I think a lot of the pieces, a lot of the wardrobe pieces were really thought provoking, to say the least. I think that they were very different, not in a bad way.
Yeah.
I think that some of the footwear that came along with some of those pieces, they were meant for those pieces, but I think that they were a little bit overly extravagant.
That's the point. That's the point of Runway and fucking Ready to Wear.
Yeah.
Well, let me rephrase that, because Runway doesn't always make it to Ready to Wear.
Right. And I know for a fact that a large volume of those pieces will not make it.
Yeah, it'll never be seen.
Never be seen.
Yeah.
But I dare a point.
The concepts behind them.
Point of concept.
Mm-hmm.
So what can we do based on what we've displayed, and how close can we deviate from what we've shown?
Yep.
And how close can we get to what we've shown without deviating behind the inspiration of the piece? So it was, you know what was really taking me out of the fuckery? The car horns that was part of the show.
This part of the show, yeah.
But I was like, wait. At first it was like, is it part of the show? Mm-hmm. Then it repeated. And I'm like, all right, yeah, this is fucking Kanye West with the fucking car horns. I think it was a good show out. I think it was a good show out. I think that what he did, because it wasn't indoors, it was outdoors. And it was very different to see from him, where his compared to, like, thinking back to season 1.
Sure.
Up until now, there's definitely been a huge progression.
There's a progression. I mean, you can't say a linear progression, but I think now you're seeing where he's not fighting to be at the table. So he's comfortable being everything he wanted to be. He's comfortable executing his ideas and his concepts.
And he's definitely doing that.
Yeah. One of the things that's always, I remember season 1, and you know the memes came out. You're out here making slave clothes and all this other crazy shit, and I'll never forget. Because again, I go off the deep end, mm-hmm. and it's very enjoyable to see how fucking stupid people are to me. I forgot the comedian. I struggle to say comedian. He was like an Instagram, one of these Instagram clowns,
right?
And he posted that meme, and wild amounts of comments, and Kanye's wild, and Kanye, we lost Kanye, blah 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 blah. And I never forgot that shit. Went back 3 years later. Look at this dude's style. He's in ripped jeans and distressed sweaters. Remember, ripped jeans and distressed sweater. It ain't slave clothes no more. Right. Your man, the dude that looked like you did it, it's a problem. But when H&M and fucking Zara rips it off, that's hot. Like, come the fuck on.
This speaks more to the point that I was trying to making about I was trying to make about a prior conversation or that we may have had in one of these episodes, and it is akin to people's lack of it is akin to people's issue with us. It is us battling us.
Yeah.
And until we learn how to stop battling us, and this is even if I do something that you don't agree with.
Sure. You don't have to tear me down.
Don't beat me up for it.
Yeah.
And too many people, this is a problem that I find, and as much as I love his podcast, but I don't like the tear down thing that happens on other podcasts.
Okay.
And I think we both know who I'm talking about.
I don't know who.
I don't know who the fuck you talking about.
JBP.
Who the fuck is that?
Joe
Rogan?
Button.
Nah, the other one.
I'll listen to that dude. He don't like Kanye. And the reasons he don't like Kanye really make sense to me. Makes sense to me.
There is no sensible reason as to why he doesn't like Kanye
Him
West.
or his man's. The other dude that's because one of them really goes off the rip when you talk about Kanye.
Probably Rory. And this is not a shot against them because I listen to them all the time, and I value opinions more so than probably anybody else, even if it's a bad opinion about me. However, you can't.
Your Xbox is trash.
Listen to. You can't speak. You can't
PC.
speak to something as it being law, and feel like, okay, I'm going to ride this train because it's popular.
Sure.
Like,
it's a popular opinion to echo.
Right.
So therefore it's lucrative to you.
Right. Kanye West is an asshole because he's following Trump. That's not what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
And if you believe that's what he's doing, then you're as uninformed as the next person.
Sure.
What he's doing is...
Mind you, Kanye West is one of, 100 black celebrities that's been pictured with Trump.
Listen.
I guess we're not really going to go there, right?
So...
Ain't your man Steve Harvey over there cooning?
Think about it this way.
General consensus is that Steve Harvey been cooning now.
Fuck Steve Harvey. Son.
Well, yeah, that's a whole nother...
Oprah, put him in a barrel and kick it off the fucking ledge.
Oh, God.
Don't let Jada Pinkett catch you so she can make it about her. and Willow.
But I'm just speaking to, and again, we shoot at no other person, no other podcast. However, I just feel that if in all of what you say that makes sense, I can't really get to most people's disdain for Kanye West. Yeah. He's vocal about certain things that you don't agree with.
Yeah.
But how can I have a problem with somebody else's idea about how to live his life?
Sure.
What to do in his life?
Sure.
If it doesn't affect me.
And even that whole stupid shit with Trump, I don't agree with it. I didn't like it.
I share the same sentiment.
But fam, show me how you tried.
Right. Don't get behind a microphone or a camera or what have you and preach your gospel, but not live it.
You get the right to tear him down if you did it and did it better, or at least tried it and then compare notes.
Come on, if you talking without doing, you failed.
Meanwhile, we gotta end this. We gotta end this episode.
Yeah, we got.
But the shit that hurt my heart.
I gotta fucking go. Yeah.
I've never heard a civil rights advocate not echo what Kanye West is doing, which is hating your oppressor does not make you any different from them. The answer is not hate. Fight for your freedom, but the answer is not hate.
Right. I mean,
and that's the message I got from Kanye.
Malcolm X himself.
Snow may disagree.
Yeah. Malcolm X himself, after after his pilgrimage, realized that he had to stop preaching hate.
Sure.
When you see another Muslim man that looks like you, and another sitting and praying and kneeling to Allah that doesn't look like you, what am I doing? What am I doing? I know the religion is correct.
Yeah.
I know the principles of Islam is correct.
Mm-hmm.
But who may be in question may not necessarily be correct. Mm-hmm. Or who I am aligned with that have nothing to do with Islam, but everything to do with a narrative that may not necessarily be correct.
Mm-hmm.
That is the problem.
I don't disagree.
One thing I want to say, and we can sign out, is I want to say, sorry, now we could say Malcolm X didn't promote hate.
No, he was militant though.
That's different.
No.
It is. I see what you're saying.
It's very important that
he was willing to fight fire with fire.
Yeah, it's very important that we make that distinction. He was not talking about hate, because this is the thing I talk about. Actually, we just spoke about this today too, in terms of like, you know, when how history is spun, they'll quick to say negativity about the Black Panther Party and Malcolm X. They put them in the same category for negativity and hate when that's not what was happening. So I just want to make sure we don't have to get into that, but I just want to make sure that that's not the message that leaves this podcast about that. It's a very small line. I don't want to.
We can discuss that later.
Okay.
We can discuss that later, because I having read the autobiography of Malcolm X was under a different impression when he was the face
No, you're right.
When he was the speaker for the Nation of Islam, the NOI.
That's your problem. You're reading.
I'm reading.
You got to get your facts from the dude next to you who got it from the Joe Buttons podcast.
I didn't say that. And with that being said, allow us to
slide up out of here.
Wrap this up.
My name is Ramon.
It's the Kicks God.
And I'm your boy Snow X.
That's Harriet Snow Tubman.
We out of here.
Fist in the sky.
Peace.
Peace.